Shalom, shalom, shalom. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God Yahweh. By Shema Mashiach Womalak Yahushai. I want to also give a mighty shalom to Israel. That's on the 12 tribes of Israel that scattered abroad to the four corners of the earth. Right, keeping the commandments and have faith in Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Amen. This is we coming back with another MAPOGO Monday. All right, and we're gonna be dealing with being envious. So the title is "Do Not Become Envious. You Have Your Own Portion." Right, I want Israel to not get too caught up in what others have, right? Because that'll ultimately take you away from the mission or the duties that the Most High God set before you, right? And I want you to also understand that you have your own portion throughout all the labors that you do, or the labors that you do, going out to the highways and byways, right? Teaching your people, right? Whether it be outside or even within your own household, right? You have your own portion, you have your own reward when it comes to that, right? So you don't want to get too caught up in what other people have, because that'll eventually have you become a bug out, right? And eventually have you go off into doing all manners of wickedness and having evil thoughts as well, right? So let's kick it off, right, with Ecclesiastes chapter 5, right? Let's kick it off with Ecclesiastes chapter 5, right? This Ecclesiastes chapter 5 in verse number 18. Behold, that which I have seen, it is good and comely for one to eat and to drink, and to enjoy the good of all his labors that he taketh under the sun all the days of his life, which God giveth him. For it is his portion, right? And that we have to pay attention to that. That's his portion, right? Whatever a brother does, right, or even a sister too, right? Whatever they do throughout their life, right, and is done and for the good and the glory or edification purposes for the Lord, right? The Lord is going to give you your portion. He's going to give you a reward. He's going to give you solely what you need and even what you want, your strongest desires, as long as you labor for the Lord. Constantly have your mind on the Lord, right? But for all the labors that you do have your own portion, man, right? And that has to be understood, right, to Israel, right? You do have your own portion, right? But you just have to be patient for it. You have to wait on it. You don't want to be that type of brother or sister that wants to, kind of go after everybody else's, rewards or everything of what they have, man, right? You want to have your own. You want to make sure that you do your part in this truth. You want to put in your own brick. You want to place your brick within the house of the Lord, right? Because that's yours, right? And you will get your portion. You will get your reward from doing those works for Yahweh Shem Yahushai. So don't go ahead and think or have evil thoughts, right, of wanting or coveting somebody else's things, man, right? Because that is their portion, right? And you will ultimately get judged for that, right, in a timely fashion, right? Because the Lord is going to execute judgment upon you if you go ahead and become envious of your neighbor, right? Let's get James the 4th chapter, right? James chapter 4. Right, James chapter 4 and verse number 1. From whence come war and fighting amongst you? Come they not hence, even of your lust that war in your members? Ye lust and have not. Ye kill and desire to have, and cannot obtain. Ye fight and war, yet ye have not, because ye ask not. So ultimately, you lust after all these things. When you're envious, you become lustful. You have a desire. Lust is not only dealing with the sexual aspect to it, right? A lasciviousness, but it deals with a desire, a strong desire, right? To in this case, to have somebody else's things, right? Ye lust and have not, ye kill and desire to have, right? You will end up killing somebody to desire what they have, man. And it says, and cannot obtain, because the Lord's not going to give it over to you, right? The Lord is not going to give it over to you because you're becoming envious. And with becoming envious, you become lustful. You want to come kill. You want to start fights. You want to start warring against your own people, right? It says ye fight in war, yet ye have not, because ye ask not. You don't ask of these things, right? You don't ask the Lord in righteousness for what you need or even for what you want in the spirit and power, right? Verse number 3, it says, ye ask and receive not, because ye ask amiss. You ask for because you have the wrong motive, right? You ask because you have the wrong mindset. You have a wicked mindset. You have evil thoughts. That's why the Lord is not going to give it over to you, no matter how much, envy or even lust that you have. But having that envy and that lust will begin your bug out journey, man. Right? Ye ask and receive not, because ye asked amiss, that ye may consume it upon your lust. You just want to consume it upon your lust, right? It's all because of your lust, your desire of somebody else's things, right? That you're going off like this, man. We can't move like this, right? This is gonna take your mind into a whole nother dark place. This is gonna take you strictly. You're not even gonna think about the laws anymore, right? You're not even gonna think about the Lord. All you're gonna think about is, oh, this person got this, and I want this. I want what they have, right? That go for sisters too, man. Right? You can't be a sister, right? Oh, I want a husband, right? You got the thoughts of a man that you want to be your husband, to lead you and guide you, but then you just want to take a sister's spot, right? You want to kick a sister out. That's off, man. That's obtaining somebody else's things. That's trying to covet, becoming lustful. You will kill, fight, and go to war with a person over what they have, man. And that's completely off. And that's you trying to consume it all upon your own lust, man. Lust will get you destroyed, right? Verse number 4, right? It says, ye adulterers and adulteress, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with God? Whosoever therefore be a friend of the world is the enemy of God. Do ye think that the scriptures saith in vain, the spirit that dwelleth in us lusteth in envy? No, that's not written in vain, right? Because there are some spirits out here that's moving like that, man. There are spirits that are trying to lust to envy, man. Lusting to have somebody else's glory, to have somebody else's house, right? To have somebody else's wife, right? All these are manners of wickedness, man. Right? And that's a wicked man or a wicked woman's mindset, man. Right? You get nothing from out of that. You get nothing by lusting after what somebody else's has, or whatever somebody else have, right? Let's get the book of Galatians chapter 5. All right. Galatians chapter 5. In verse number 16, right? It says, this I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. And that's self-explanatory, man. Right? You got to walk in the spirit so that you don't fulfill the things of the flesh, right? Because we walk day in and day out in this flesh in a wicked society, right? Sometimes it can be hard to walk in righteousness when all you do is wake up to wickedness, man, right? But the Lord is giving you encouragement, man, right? Walk in the spirit. He told you that the keeping the laws is not grievous. It's not hard to do, because you have to keep yourself in a spiritual mindset, right? You have to have some self-control, man, right? It says, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh, right? Your flesh and your spirit war against each other, right? This is just what comes with being in the truth, right? It don't matter how many years you've been in the truth. This is what happens, man. Year in and year out, man. This is what happens, right? Your flesh fights against the spirit, and your spirit fights against the flesh, But you're supposed to walk after the spirit, man. Anytime that you have a thought or even an action of walking after the flesh, man, you should be going into a fast. You should be praying, right? You should be hitting up brothers, hey, confessing your faults so that brothers could throw up prayers for you, man. Right? And these are contrary the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would. But if ye be led of the Spirit, you are not under law. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murderers, drunkenness, reveling, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of God. Now, a lot of y'all gonna be like, see, it didn't say being envious or jealousy. No, man, but that's still an unclean spirit. There's uncleanness in there. That's unclean, man. That's unclean, right? That's an unclean thing. To covet, right? And that's a part of the law. To covet after somebody else's belongings, man. Right? Let's get that in the book of Exodus. All right. Exodus chapter 20. All right? That's still an unclean spirit. And you can't make it into the kingdom walking in the spirit of jealousy, man. And even covetousness, right? This is Exodus chapter 20, verse number 17. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's, man. Now we need to pay attention to nor anything that is thy neighbor's, man. Anything that's your neighbor's, you shouldn't be trying to covet. Covet is to have a desire of. Let's actually, right? Let's actually go into that, right? It says to desire, covet, take pleasure in, delight in, to desire, to be desirable, right? Desire greatly, right? You're not supposed to move in this spirit. You're not supposed to, man. Those are the biblical usage, right? But they have some synonyms over here, man, right? Delight, pleasant, beautiful, or beauty, lust, delectable things, right? We're not supposed to move as such, man. You're not supposed to covet after anything of your neighbors. It don't matter what it is, man, right? You should not, because you have your own portion. You need to stick to what the Lord is going to give you. Not everybody has the same portion, right? It goes based off the works that you do for the Lord, how much work you put in, how much time you put in for the Lord. If you just that type of Israelite that just want to sit down all day, talk about everybody, right? Not doing the work of the Lord, right? Being a keyboard Israelite, but yeah, you covet, you want to try to take everything another brother has when he's doing the work of the Lord, when he's praying, he's fasting, right? He's showing his works throughout all this different social media, right? Teaching his brother, his sisters, teaching his household. But yeah, you want everything that he has, man. The Lord rewards righteousness, man. You need to have your own portion. You need to make your own portion, man. You got to mold out your own brick and put it into the house of the Lord, man. You can't say, oh, that brother doing that, so hey, I'm going to go do that too. Don't be a follower in that sense, man. Don't be a follower in that sense. Oh, that brother got that? Oh, yeah, I need that. Right? I definitely need that. That's weak nature, man. That's weak nature. We are not supposed to move like that at all, whatsoever. Right? Let's get the book of Romans. Romans chapter 8. Right? Romans chapter 8. Romans chapter 8 and verse number 5. For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh. Right? You don't want to be the type that only mind the reward, man, or what you could get out of something. Right? That's a fleshly mindset. That's really an Edomite mindset. Think about it. That's how Esau, the so-called white man, moves, man. When he sees some, man, he want that, and he'll go through great lengths to try to get it, man, because he's trying to fulfill his flesh, and he's only minding the things of the flesh. He's not minding the things of the spirit. But that's how you're supposed to be moving, man. Reading on, it says, but they that are after the spirit, but they that are after the spirit, the things of the spirit. You walking after the spirit, you have to mind the things of the spirit. Like building up treasures into the kingdom of God. Who is really thinking about that? Asking yourself what you can do to please the Lord. Thinking about the next week, man, I'm finna try to fight. I'm finna try to fast 3 days, right? I'm finna try to pray as much as I can, right? I might even try to pray for an hour. Are you really trying to stay in that spirit? Or are you trying to fulfill the things of the flesh? Right? Oh man, I gotta get this job, man. Shoes. They want me to break this out, but I need it, man. I'm gonna go ahead and get it. That's your flesh talking, man. Dang, I'm hungry, man. I haven't ate all day. Man, you don't need to eat, man. You need to feed your spirit. Your spirit has to be fed, man. That proceeds back to Matthew chapter 4 and verse number 4, man. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. Now we use that all the time, and we go continue to use that, man. To say that because it's true. That's faithful and true, man. Verse number 6, it says, for to be carnally minded is death. Being envious, covetousness, right, is a carnal mind, and that's going to eventually lead you to death. Because like we read, right, in James chapter 4, right, you will go great lengths to try to get whatever somebody else have, huh? Right? You will kill, go to war, you will fight. But don't you know that you could die doing all those things? You could die trying to kill somebody else. You could die trying to war with somebody else just because you want what they want. You want their glory. You want their spot. You want everything that they have. That carnal mind is death. You will eventually be destroyed. But to be spiritually minded is life and peace, man. That's what we all should want. That spiritual mind that's going to lead us to life and give us peace, man. We live in a world where we don't get any peace, man. Right? Every time we turn our back, it's something else that we're going through, man. If you're okay in a society where you have to bust your ass every day just to make a penny, and then you going to eventually walk in a carnal mind because you got comfortable. You literally got comfortable in a carnal mind. And that comfortability is going to lead you right to death. But a lot of us in Israel should be in that spiritual mindset so we could take on life and peace, man. Right? Verse number 7. Because the carnal mind is enmity against God. For it is not subject to the law, neither indeed can be. That carnal mind will not be subject unto the law, because that carnal mind that you have, it's not going to want to even listen to the law. You ain't going to want to read the law. You ain't going to want to pay attention to nobody that's teaching the law. You just want to do away with the law. You're going to tap into your Christianity side, man. The laws is done away. No, man. That's a carnal mind. It's enmity with God, man. It's against God completely. It says neither indeed can be. So it's impossible for a carnal mind to be subject unto the law of the Lord at any time. It can't be. Verse number 8. So then they that are in the flesh cannot please God. You can't please the Lord, man. You can't please the Lord while trying to please your flesh, man. You just want to pay attention to the things that you want in this world instead of trying to pay attention to the things that you need and want in the kingdom of God, man. Is your mind really in the kingdom? Is your mind really for getting the kingdom of the Lord, receiving your crown, seeing your kids and your wife in a righteous estate? Or are you trying to fulfill the things of your flesh? Man, I need this new car, right? I'm trying to get this $1.5 million house, right? I want 2 big Dobermans sitting outside, right? I want the fastest car. I want me a Bugatti. Is that a type of mindset that you want? Or that you even need to be in, knowing the times that we're living in? The times that we're living in, right? Ain't none of that gonna matter. None of it. Your car, your house, even the mortgage that ain't gonna matter, man. When Trump decides to put out martial law, that's when all hell, hey man, the world's gonna be in a panic. Because in that time, that's when war is gonna start. That's exactly when war is gonna start, and that's when they're gonna try to come after the Israelites, man. They're gonna tell you, hey, get in the house by between 5 and 7 o'clock. If you're not in the house by that curfew, we search and destroy. It's gonna be kill or be killed at those times, man. That's why you need to tap into a spiritual mindset instead of that carnal mindset, that's fleshly mindset, huh? Right? Let's go to the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 3. First Corinthians chapter 3 and verse number 3. For ye are yet carnal. Hey, Paul was straight up, right? Ye are still carnal. You still carnal as hell, man. After everything that's going on, after all the teachings that's out there in righteousness, you still carnal. You still wanted to walk after the flesh. You still trying to covet after somebody else's belongings. You still being against your people. You still trying to cause division. Ye are yet carnal. For whereas there is among you envying and strife and divisions, are ye not carnal and walk as men? Are you not just like the damn heathen? Being envious, causing strife and divisions? What happened to kingdom building? What happened to kingdom building? Are ye not carnal and walk as men? You walk, being in an envious mindset, you walk just as the heathen, man. Let's get Micah chapter 2, right? It's just like the heathen. You're no better than a heathen trying to covet or become envious of somebody else's things, man. To the point that you would try to go great lengths to try to take it away from them. You're no better than a heathen, man. This is Micah chapter 2, right? In verse number 1, right? It says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds, man. You go to sleep thinking of wickedness, man. You have dreams about how you finna take everything from that brother, take everything from that sister. And being envious will get you killed by the Lord, man. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. You wake up early morning, now you making a plan. At 9 o'clock, I'm finna do this. Oh, that brother be at 2 o'clock. I'm finna at 2 p.m. I'm finna go ahead and do this. I'm finna be right there with him, seeing everything that he do, and I'm finna take everything from. No, that's off, man. You having dreams about it, and then when you wake up in the morning, you go ahead and make it an action because you can. You think you can. Verse number 2, and they covet fields and take them by violence. This is Esau. This is talking about our oppressors. But this can be applied to Israel on a double fold. This can apply to Israel. Because there's some of Israel that oppress their own people, man. Verse number 2, it says, and they covet fields and take them by violence. And houses, didn't we talk about that in James chapter 4? You take it by violence, you take it by fighting, killing, warring against the other person, and taking them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. You oppress a man and his house. You oppress you oppress the man, his sister, his brother, his children, and his wife, his whole house. And you oppress his heritage, even a man in his heritage. You going against it, you going against the law. Like we read in Romans chapter 8, in verse number 5 on down. All this is of evil, man. This is wickedness. This is literally how you make yourself, right, marked to be in a lake of fire. Because it's things like this that will get you killed. A lot of y'all say, a lot of people will say, oh, that's not a sin unto death. Yes, man. Being envious, that can be a sin unto death. Because you will kill, right? You will kill, you will fight whoever. Just because you're jealous of what they got and you want it, you desire it, you lust after it. There's other things that come with being envious. Right? Let's get the book of Genesis chapter 4. A quick example. Right? Because what happened to Cain? Right? What happened to Cain, man? Cain is a prime example of being damn jealous, man. Right? This is Genesis, right? All right. And we're going to start at verse number 1. And Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. And she again bare his brother Abel. And Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. And in process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought a fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. And Abel, he also brought the firstlings of his flock and the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel, and to his offering. So though they bought, two different offerings, the Lord made his choice. The Lord will do what he want to do. The Lord make his own choices, man. And you will be a fool to speak against it. Oh man, why he got it? Why he got to bring all that, man? And why he doing too much for the Lord? No, that's wicked communication. You would be a fool to talk against the Lord in that way. Though they brought two different offerings, the Lord had respect unto Abel's offering. Right? But what happened? Right? Verse number 5. But Cain, and to his offering, Salakia, he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. Man, Cain was mad as hell. And his countenance fell. Damn, walking around all mad. You know, hey, man. Esau is a regeneration of Cain, man. When Esau get mad, you know how he wear it on his face, man. He don't hide his anger. Esau kind of turned red. He got his mad face going on and throwing temper tantrums, man. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell, man. Verse number 6. And the Lord said unto Cain, why art thou wroth? And why is thy countenance fallen? Why are you mad? Why are you acting out? Why has your countenance failed? Verse number 7. If thou doest well, shall thou not be accepted? So the Lord is asking him, if you do good, I'm going to accept it, right? Aren't you going to be accepted if you do good? If you do well? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door. And unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. And Cain talked with Abel, his brother. And this Cain is already angry as hell, right? And he on his Micah chapter 2 act, right? He done went to sleep mad, woke up early morning, and went to go practice it, man. I'm left to believe Cain probably had dreams, man. Cain probably had dreams of wickedness, man. Woke up early morning, right? And it says Cain talked with Abel, his brother. And it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and slew him, man. This is a prime example of what happens when you become envious against your brother. You denounce the Lord, you denounce the law. You don't keep any deeds of the law. You go against your brother. You'll be willing to kill, fight, war forever against your brother. Is that not a Jacob and Esau type of mindset? That's an Esau type of mindset, man. Against Jacob. That's a Cain against Abel, man. It says Cain rose up against Abel and slew him. Killed him, man. All because the Lord had respect unto Abel. All because Abel's offering was better than Cain's, man. Do we forget that being in the truth is like a race? Paul taught that, man. It's a race, man. This is a literal race. You have to please the Lord in the ways that was ordained since the beginning. We have so many examples throughout the scriptures of how we're supposed to be and how we're not supposed to be. What we're supposed to do and what we're not supposed to do, man. We have so many examples of what pleases the Lord, man. Why go off and do something less than that, man? We're supposed to be greater than our forefathers, man. We're supposed to do better works, as Yahushua said, man. Not becoming envious and jealous of what your brother got, man. Because you could have the same thing, but you have to do what you have to do. You have to walk your walk. You have to mold your brick and place it into the house of the Lord. Everybody has their own brick. Everybody has their own purpose. You have to find yours, man. Instead of wanting everybody else's, taking everybody else's possessions, man. Let's get Proverbs chapter 25. All right. Proverbs chapter 25 and verse number 28. Right? This Proverbs chapter 25 and verse number 28. He that have no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls, man. You have no self-control. You might have been that same person in the world, right? Always taking. Take. Me, I. Not caring about nothing else, man. And eventually you carried that on into the truth. You're as a city that is broken down and without walls. You have to learn how to rule over your spirit. You have to learn how to have self-control. That's why the Lord places guides into your life. That's why he puts men over you, such as elders, senior men, so that you can be shown how to rule over your spirit, have some self-control so that you don't become a city that is broken down without walls. Because a city that has no walls is not protected, man. You allow any type of spirit to come in. So you start off by being jealous, envious. Now you're a murderer. And then after you become a murderer, now you're deceitful. That's all manners of wickedness and folly. You allowing those wicked spirits, those damn demonic spirits, have their way with you, man. All because you do not have any self-control. You're not even trying to rule over your spirit. You finding ways in the scriptures to justify yourself to do wickedness, man. And that goes back to Micah chapter 2. You practice it, man. Right? Let's get 2 Timothy chapter 1. Second Timothy chapter 1. Right? This 2 Timothy chapter 1 and verse number 7. For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and love and of a sound mind. Now, I've heard this scripture many times. Right? A lot. Let's not forget that the Lord also gave us a spirit of a sound. What is a sound mind? He gave us the spirit of a sound mind. Right? Let's go into that. Right? Sound mind, right?
Strong's G 4995. Sophronismas. Sophronismas.
Right? And that means an admonition or calling to soundness of mind, to moderation and self-control. Self-control, man. That's the point. You have to have self-control. That's having a sound mind. And what else, right? It says discipline, self-control, sound mind, man. You have to have self-control within yourself. You have to have self-control within yourself, man. The Lord gave you that spirit. And you need to acknowledge that so that you can overcome being envious, jealous, having fear, man. Having fear that you ain't going to have nothing, so you try to take somebody else's of things that they have. That's completely off, man. At this point, you have missed the bigger picture. You have to have a sound mind. You have to have discipline within yourself. Right? Let's get the book, right? Of 2nd Esdras. Or actually, Mark chapter 7. Mark chapter 7, right? In verse number 21. For from within, out of the heart of men proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornication, murders. Out of your mind, a mind of a wicked man, a defiled man, will what? Proceed evil thoughts. You having wicked thoughts, man. And with those wicked thoughts, now you start to speak those things, man. Thefts, right? Now you becoming a thief. You stealing, man. Right? Brother be like, oh man, where my wallet go? Man, I don't know, man. Shoes, how much I have in it? That's off, man. It says thefts, covetousness, man. This is what proceeds out of a defiled man in verse number 20. Right? Thefts, covetousness, wickedness, deceit. Now you just out here lying. Now you lying against your brother. Now you lying against your sister. Lasciviousness and evil eye. Now you Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse number 54, man. Now you have an evil eye towards your brother. Blasphemy, pride, foolishness. You become prideful, man. This is what comes with being envious. Eventually, you will work out being an adulterer, fornicator, murderer, a thief, covetousness, wicked, deceitful, lascivious, having an evil eye, a blasphemer, prideful, and completely foolish. All because of jealousy. In verse number 23, it says, all these evil things cometh from within and defile a man. This what goes with, back to Micah chapter 2. It all started within. It all started off with a thought, and then you made it into reality. You woke up the next day, early morning, and then started to practice it, huh? Now you're a defiled man. And a lot of people don't make it back from that. A lot of people do not make it back from that. So these are a couple things of what will happen to you if you continue to move in a envious, jealousy type of mindset. Right? Let's go to the second Esdras, right? Let me see. I might have to let me see real quick. I might have to break up, share this screen as well. All right. Let's see. Let me see real quick. All right. I'm gonna try to share this screen, full screen, so we could get second Esdras chapter 14. All right. All right. Let me see. There we go. All right. Second Esdras chapter 14. All right. Second Esdras chapter 14, verse number 14. Let go from thee mortal thoughts, cast away the burdens of man, put off now the weak nature. Being envious is weak nature, man. Right? That's a mortal thought. To have jealousy against your brother and wanting to take what he has, that's mortal thoughts. That's the thoughts of man. We're supposed to have thoughts of the Most High God. You have to try to have the ways or practice the ways of the Lord. Verse number 14, it says, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. You got to haste to flee from what? Mortal thoughts and weak nature. In other words, you gotta get away from that envious spirit, man. You gotta get away from that. Or that's gonna ultimately destroy you. That's gonna ultimately take your seat out of the kingdom, man. All right. And that is the end of MAPOGO Monday. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High God Yahweh. By Shema Mashiach Shai. Shalom.